1 second. I'm not waiting for people to join. It doesn't matter. I really only have a couple minutes. This is just easier than recording a video and then posting it. Just start a quick live stream and then people can watch. You can play it back later. It'll just be up available on my channel as a regular video. So, all right, just to quickly show you, 3-minute description. I did a video, a post-mortem on my BNB trade. I'll post that again. I messed it up because I went over to BTC and started explaining some stuff, and then I realized I was looking at the wrong BTC chart. It hadn't been updated in like 5 days, so it had all the wrong information on it. So I just took that video down. I'll redo it and show it to you. But BNB, I got stopped out at 14.5% profit. It looks like we're holding so far at the 55. But if BTC takes a quick little drop, we'll probably drop to the 99 in the top of the cloud, and that's going to be our next major Ichimoku support. If that holds, then we move back up, and I'll stay in the trade. If I get stopped out, I'm going to get stopped out at 8.5% profit on the rest of my BNB trade. But just to show you what I'm thinking on BTC. So this is a strong recent support that developed, right? Over here, we got a lot of resistance there on the way up. We had some resistance here and here. So it sort of ended up creating a range between what was my key resistance before and now this new blue one. This blue one more recently has been holding. So we dipped down and had a wick that shot down below the 50% fib extension. But we had this candle down, and now we're sitting right there trading right at that support. So the order books are full up right at that support right there. If that dumps and we go down below that, we're not going to stop until we hit this next support at 39.30, which is pretty much the base of this range here that we've been trading in. And then the next support would be the bottom of this past range where we were before, which is going to be 37.50 to 3800 in there. I don't think we're going to go down. I think we're probably going to hold at 39.30 if we do drop to that level, but I'm like 80-90% sure we're going to take a little drop to that 39.30 support, and then either we hold and move back up, or we drop again, and then I'm not getting into any trades. But for right now, I advise nobody really get into any trades because I'm not really sure what's going to happen. And if you don't have any level of certainty whatsoever, you shouldn't be getting into shit. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a quick little dip here, but I'm not sure what's going to happen beyond that. I'm kind of confused with what I'm seeing in the order books. Although there is a lot... there's a lot of trading going on, or a lot of orders, rather, sitting right at this support level right here. Now, I'm using the Bitfinex chart. I always do. It's where all my data is. It doesn't really matter. People say, why do you use that one? It doesn't make a difference. I could use any chart. It's going to show the same data set pretty much, right? So you're going to have, like, the exact same. Everything's exactly the same. This doesn't have the wick, but besides that, the trends are all the same, right? So it doesn't make too much of a difference. Big drop, move up, slowly come back down. Big drop, move up, slowly come back down. These are just all different BTC charts. I like the Bitfinex one because of the volume that it has. I know it's traded like $100 off because it's trading with Tether instead of USD, which is fine. It's pretty much irrelevant. I've been using it for a year and a half, and at no point have I felt, I really should need to use another chart because this isn't accurate. Every single time I'm making a call and basing my call on the BTC Bitfinex chart, it ends up being accurate. So right now, if I anticipate a little drop to 39.30, it ends up being accurate. And my altcoins reflect it. My altcoins will show a drop at the exact same time, and they'll find support at the exact same time. So the best market indicator, if you're using a Bitcoin chart to see what the overall market activity is going to look like, is the Bitfinex chart. If anybody tells you different, tell them to explain why, because I have zero reason to believe that that's the case. Anyway, so that's what I'm thinking. I see a little drop. Just to show you really quick, we can see a lot of support in some of these plays. So I have BNB I'm still holding. I got stopped out on some of my other trades. Link, I said Link was going to move up because it was sitting right at that Ichimoku support, right at the 99, and then it broke up to the 55. That hadn't the other way around. It had been getting rejected at the bearish 55. The bearish meaning at the 55 is below the 99 in my Ichimoku model. That's a bearish indicator. It looked like it was going to pull up and move up here, and then it came back down. But right here, what we've been seeing is it keeps getting rejected by the 55 EMA. It finally broke through the 55 EMA up here. The second I saw it break through the 55 EMA and touch the 99 for the first time in 2 weeks or in a week, I knew we had a chance of getting that breakout, and sure enough, we blew out above for about a 3% move. We started coming back down along with BTC, but so far it's holding at the EMAs, and we have the Ichimoku support. I have a feeling once BTC inevitably stabilizes, we're going to see Link move up and break out of this resistance right here. Once it gets above 46, 47, it won't stop until it makes 6 or 7% move. I would say 4,900 would probably be a good short-term target to where this prior top was right there. So let me set that actually. So this is target if we break above the cloud. We don't just have to break, we actually have to break and close. So that's the target if we break and close above the cloud, is going to be that prior top where we maxed out before getting too much resistance and coming back down. If we were then going to break that, there's only one more resistance to break, which would be this top resistance of that prior trading range that we were in, about 5,000. Once you do that, we're wide open. Link has a big run in her. She's definitely primed to have a really big run. We just need to get the volume pumped in to make it happen. But it's looking like it might actually be coming to fruition pretty soon. Based on the support we're seeing here, I'm pretty confident that's going to continue to hold, unless BTC takes a massive dump. But I really do see it stopping at 39.30. If it comes back down and it falls below this support, that is a really strong support. So we'd be hard pressed to see it fall below. If it continues to hold at 40.10 right here and then move up from here, great, I'm happy. I would love to be wrong about this, but I do see a pretty good shot at us dropping to that next support. Anyway, that's it. Really quick video. I just wanted to show my overall outlook. Hopefully that was informative. I have like 90 seconds. Anybody have any questions? Use the YouTube chat, and I'll take like 1 or 2 questions if you have any questions. Ding dong. Hello? Questions? I don't really look at the daily because I'm a day trader nowadays. Of late, I'm getting back into long-term stuff. Like if you're in my group, then you already know. But Nulls has fucking exploded, and that's I had posted in the group. Let me show you guys. I started easing back into my long-term plays. So let me just give you an idea of how great long-term plays actually can be. So here's a little sneak peek for those who aren't in the group. These are my long-term plays. Now you can see LTC is a major one, BTC, Scroll, CVC, Nulls, right? If you go back and see where I was talking about, I started getting back in the beginning of December, I started buying back my Nulls bags. I used to have a massive amount of capital in Nulls, and then I sold it off when we were taking the biggest correction. BTS too. BTS is another one of my big long-term plays. But, so yeah, the beginning of December, right? So actually, yeah, November. So actually it was in November, but really the beginning of December is when I started really buying it back up. So let me show you how well we've been doing there on that end. That was bought back into Knowles with a pretty high risk SL. So that was, yeah, December 10th. December 10th. How do you guys think I've done so far? Look at that. It never got below that. That was pretty much the bottom. It went up, came back down for a second, and since then, it's gone ham. Absolutely fucking ham. So December 10th was right here. So right now, I'm up 62%, 63%. At the max, I was up 100% from buying back long-term. So there are long-term plays to be made, and my long-term strategies are just as good as my short-term ones. I just haven't been doing a lot of long-term trading because I've been focused on day trading over the last several months, given how the market's been. Guys who are in the group are very familiar with how successful my short-term trading is. The members of the group who were here last year know that my long-term plays also do very well. Anybody who's been in the group since December and bought into Knowles with me long-term, it pretty much went up 100%. And even right now, they're up in the 60s. So we're looking really good on that end. CVC, I don't want to go through all of them, but yeah, CVC also has had some major, massive moves. Fuck it, I'll pull it up. Scroll. So yeah, that was in February. So February is when I got into CVC and I doubled my bag in Knowles. Again, right at the bottom. Like I bought in the middle of February, and look what's happened since then. At one point, I was up 125% on CVC, but it's a long-term bag, so I never sold. Now I'm only up 53%. Had I sold at the top of that pump, I would have made a ton of money, but I'm holding it long-term. I plan on holding it indefinitely for right now, so I didn't sell. I'm still up 52%. Yeah, so my long-term trades have been doing phenomenally well. But let me take a look at LTC really quick, just because that's another long-term play that I've been dumping a lot of capital back into. I don't look at the daily on it really lately, but short term, I really do love LTC for like the midterm trade right now, but it is a great long-term play. Let me pull up the daily so I can take a look just because you asked, and then I'm going to head out and feed my babies. I mean, look at this. Like, this is just insane. We bottomed out in the market. A lot of people think there's still another deeper, lower low that's coming. I don't see it. I really don't. I had called a year and a half ago. No, a year ago now? What was it? It was a little over a year. March. No, okay, sorry. It's been 12 months exactly when I said we were going to see 3 to 4K bottom. And sure enough, that's exactly what we got. 3,200. Actually, at one point I said 3,400 would probably be a good bottom. Sorry, I was wrong. I was $100 off. The fact that I was that accurate that far in advance and my model held that true, I'm inclined to trust my model. So yes, there are some indicators that are still bearish. We haven't seen a lot of new capital getting injected into the market. So am I completely 100% sold that we bottomed and we're going to move up from here and we're not going to see another lower low? No, there is a possibility. I could be wrong. But considering the fact that my model has said this would happen and it's been so precise and on point a year in advance pretty much, how am I going to, now go against my own model and second guess myself? I'm just going to trust my work. And if I end up being wrong, so be it. It's not the end of the world. I'm making money on short-term trades. I'm not, putting all of my capital into BTC. And then for the longs, the stuff that I am getting into that's long-term, I'm up so much on it from buying in December and January and February that realistically, if it were to come back down and get down close to my entry and I lost my 50, 60, 70, 80% profit, I can take my money out at my original entry price, because chances are if we come back down to that low, we are going to keep dropping. We're not coming back down to $23 on LTC. If we do, we're probably going to go down to $5, and BTC is probably going down to 1,800. So that's my thinking. So if you were to get into LTC, I don't think it's a bad buy long term right now. I don't see. Let's see. We probably do have a correction coming up at some point soon. Count could be off slightly, but let me see here. We can keep moving up a little bit more to like 64 or so. That would be a 2618 extension of wave one. There's an alternative count that I was working on where that was the wave one count. So if this actually was the top of wave one, if I were to do a fib extension on that just to see where the potential extensions land, that would put the current price right at a 1618 extension, which is more often than not the target you expect in these situations. Not always, but more often than not, that's the case. And then wave 5 will give you a 1-to-1. So I would say either we're going to correct pretty soon because we're at the top here, or we have another little bit of movement to go, another 15% or so, 10%, just to get to the 2618 extension. I don't know that I would inject a lot of capital in right now for a short-term trade. I have some money in there for like a midterm trade, but I want to see if we correct here. If we do correct here, I'm going to be pumping in a ton of money once we get down to maybe this 382 fib retracement or maybe the 618 fib retracement. That would be a really great target range to buy in big. I wouldn't go too crazy though right now. I'd wait and see how that plays out, because if we move up from here, you could always buy in later. You don't want to lose your capital. If you buy in now and then we correct down to the 382, you're going to take a pretty hefty loss. You're better off keeping your capital safe and waiting until the opportunity looks perfect. If you look at the prior trading ranges, we have really strong support down in this area too, which falls just below that 382. So even if I am wrong and it goes down a little bit further, I don't think it's making it to the 50% retracement, because that support's pretty damn strong. Look how much rejection we got right there. A lot of support here, a lot of support there. Overall, LTC is looking great long term. I just don't know if it's an ideal entry right now, given the fact that we kind of do need to correct pretty soon. All right, that's it. I got to go feed the babies. I will catch up with you guys a little later, but thanks for stopping by. And keep an eye on BTC, like I said. We have some potential moves to consider, including and especially a potential drop down to that support. It's not going to be, that doesn't mean BTC is tanking. If it drops down to 39.30, it's less than $100 drop. It just means that the alt trades are going to have to hold. You're not going to want to get into any plays on altcoins right now. I want to see how this plays out first. So don't get into any trades. Just wait. You're not going to miss out on anything. If BTC starts bouncing back up and gets back above the EMAs, throw all your capital into a bunch of different altcoins, and you're probably going to make money. Use a process like mine that's a little more targeted and not so random, and you're probably going to make a lot of money. But if we don't bounce here and we keep dropping, you're going to want to have as much capital as you can possibly get your hands on so you can buy back in when we do bottom. This big sell-off right here, and then I'm really going to go, this big sell-off right here, I explained in a video to the group how when you have a huge dump like that, you have one of these sell-off candles and then an immediate bounce back. What that means is all of those sell orders were exhausted. There's not a lot of people dumping progressively. That was a few whales that are holding a lot of BTC that just dumped at one time, and that caused it to take a huge dip. A relative huge dip. That's not a huge crash or anything like that, but considering how bullish we were and how we were moving, that was a pretty strong sell-off. So when you get that quick little sell-off like that, but then you get an immediate bounce back, and you see that on all the alts. All the altcoins had that drop and an immediate bounce back. Drop, immediate bounce back. I can go to any one and you'll see the exact same thing. Big red candle, and then an immediate bounce back. When you have that, that generally means that there was a lot of buy money sitting on the order books lower. So all those bids were sitting at that lower price because people saw value at those levels. As soon as the price got back down to that level, all those orders instantaneously filled and pushed the price back up. That tells me the sentiment in the market wasn't that we're bearish and everybody should be selling off. It was that a few people happened to sell off a very large number of coins. That caused the market to take a dip, and as a result, all those buy orders at those lower high value prices were sitting there ready to be filled, and when they got filled, it pushed the price right back up. That's why I was still overall bullish, and a lot of guys in the group got into some trades with me, including my Knowles trade, which obviously did very well for everybody. As soon as we dipped back down and shot back up, I saw all the support we were sitting at, and we got into Knowles, and we ended up making 40% on that trade at the top. I ended up making like 32% or something because I didn't take it all the way up to the 38 top. But anyway, you get the point. All right, I'll catch you guys later. I'm going to go feed the kids. Thanks for stopping by.